In Primo Levi's survival in Auschwitz, he describes the ultimate tragedy of the Holocaust not just as physical death, but as the demolition of a man. He speaks of prisoners who had the divine spark extinguished within them. My research began with a simple question. If the camp can extinguish that spark, what can reignite it? I'm exploring this through Holm's novel, I Am David. My project, The Resurrection of the Word, looks at how a child, raised in a vacuum of sensory deprivation, reclaims his humanity not through a book or a sermon, but through the visceral shock of the physical world. My preliminary thesis is this. While the Holocaust was a systematic attempt to turn humans into hollow men, I Am David suggests that identity can be reconstructed through a sensory theology. For David, the Word becomes flesh through an incarnational reality, specifically the sweetness of an orange or the vastness of the sea. I argue that beauty is not a luxury, but the essential information required to refute the gatekeepers of the camp. To understand David's rebirth, we have to understand the gray he came from. In the opening chapters, David describes his world as various tones of gray and brown. He has no name for his captors, calling them only the man, because to give a name is to acknowledge a human connection. The most striking connection to our course material is Levi's extinguished spark. David says he learned that he must not think. You must not let what you heard or saw penetrate your thoughts. This is the monotone existence. But then he escapes. He reaches Italy and he sees the sea. He says, surely this was what one had eyes for, not for the ugly dark gray. One had eyes to gaze on beauty. This is the moment the demolition is reversed. One interesting thing I've discovered in my research is how David uses sensory checkpoints to build a new concept of God. He finds an orange and says it has a bittersweet taste. He realizes, I don't know anything. How can I stay free when I don't know what everybody else knows? This led me to a connection with our discussions on the divine spark. David doesn't find God in a church first. He finds a God of the green pastures because he sees a world that is unnecessarily beautiful. As I noted in my outline, the orange is the Word made flesh to a starving child. It is the proof that a creator exists who is different from the gatekeepers of the camp. He even tells God, I can't do anything for you. I've always been in a wicked place, but I choose you. One of my favorite discoveries was David's pragmatism. When he loses his compass in the sea, he decides he needs a god to replace it. He says, a god would be a lot better than a compass, though of course it would have been nice to have both. This humor highlights his childlike faith. It's not about grand theology. It's about a practical need for a gatekeeper who is actually on his side. He replaces his lost compass with a god, spiritual direction replacing earthly direction. I also found a fascinating detail about David's physical appearance. Throughout the book, people are unsettled by David's eyes. He eventually finds a mirror and notices that while the men in the camp had dull eyes, mirroring Levi's extinguished spark, his own eyes are very bright. He realizes he has to learn to smile just to hide the intensity of his life. This suggests that the resurrection of the Word isn't just internal, it changes the way a survivor literally looks at the world. Ultimately, David's journey acts as a mirror for us, the normies who take miracles for granted. David is fascinated by a baby because it is tiny and alive. He is fascinated by soap. Through his eyes, we experience a vicarious rebirth. As I move toward my final paper, I will focus on how David's strange eyes, which he finally sees in a mirror on page 78, are not strange because they are broken, but because they are filled with the bright light of someone who has seen the resurrection of the Word. Beauty in this novel is the ultimate act of resistance against the demolition of man. Thank you.